What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you were here for last video, then you saw that we completely tore down the Grom, almost down to the frame. We took off all the fairings. We started taking off a lot of the wire harness, and today we're gonna finish up doing that. Look at this man's. How come all of your stuff is just always in this kind of shape?
Right, well, I'm still fixing that. I'm just doing weight reduction.
So anyways, guys, this is the condition that we left it in last time. It looks pretty rough, but today, hopefully before it gets dark, I'm just gonna continue finishing up stripping everything off of this bike, hopefully getting the motor pulled out today and wrapping up all of that stuff. And then maybe if we have enough time, I'm gonna get started on stripping that 300 down. I learned last video that this is a crazy operation and a lot more difficult than I thought it was. There's a lot of stuff in here in such a tight space. So for those of you that are new, we are 300 swapping a Grom. We're taking a 300cc engine and hopefully gonna try and make it fit on a Grom frame that usually only supports a 125cc engine. So it's gonna be rather interesting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna take off this exhaust mount right here that's holding this exhaust up, and then remove the entire full exhaust off of the block up here, and then take it out of the back right here, because obviously this is not gonna be the same exhaust setup that we use since we did get this header over here for the 300 motor. So let me slide this back together, and I'm gonna set this exhaust clamp out of the way, and then we should just be able to, yep, there we go. So we slid off the muffler here, and I'm gonna set this out of the way as well with all the other Grom parts that I'm keeping together. So next up, I'm gonna come over here and grab a 12mm. Then I'm gonna go ahead down here at the bottom and start removing the exhaust manifold down here. So I've got the bolts removed up here off the front, so I need to go right back here, and there's one more bolt that is holding this exhaust onto the frame right here. Oh, well, there we go. So I loosened that up and it actually fell down. Let me take this bolt all the way out, and then we can completely remove this exhaust. So just like that, the entire exhaust is removed. We are actually getting somewhere now. Okay, so this is the wiring for the brake switch. I am gonna reuse this same brake switch, so I'm just gonna move this wiring out of the way here. Clutch line is still connected, that's fine. That can come off too. So now that all that's out of the way, I can go ahead and continue removing all these fairings here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out this rear fairing. There's so many screws hiding all over the place on here. Alrighty, so I got all of those out, and the tail fairing comes off. That's simple. So let's move this out of the way now and set it with the other fairings. And just like every other time, I'm gonna go ahead and replace these bolts so I don't lose track of where they belong. Putting these bolts back where they belong just makes things so much easier so you don't lose anything. So now I can go ahead and take out all of the wiring right here for the tail light. And I'm probably gonna have to cut it somewhere so I can splice it into the new CBR harness. But for now, I'm just gonna disconnect it right here. And then there's these fuses down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull all this through right here. There we go. This is almost the complete harness right here already. So now then, all of this harness on this side is completely disconnected, if you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and try and put this thing up on a stand, and boom, just like that. Let me just double check and make sure that all the wires are removed from this side, which it appears that they are. Yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull all of this wire harness through the front forks right here. As part of the harness, basically right here between the engine and the frame. So once I remove the engine, this entire harness is just gonna fall out, which is perfect. Okay, so from the looks of it, this motor is pretty much completely ready to be dumped. So the next thing that I need to do is take off this front sprocket cover right here and loosen up the chain. That way I can get the chain off of the front and get started on taking the entire engine out. Actually, hang on, maybe I can just take off this master link. Yeah, I'm gonna just take off this master link and pull the chain out. That way I won't have to do anything with that. Work smarter, not harder. Master link is off. Voila, chain is removed, and this one needed to be replaced anyways because this thing is destroyed. Yay! So it looks like there is only 3 mounts for this entire engine. Okay, let's take this one out first and we'll just go from there. Okay, so I've got that one off. Now I need to take off this big 15. Oh yeah, this is gonna get it out and exposed for sure. Okay, so we're gonna leave the bolt in there, obviously, because the swing arm would fall off if we didn't have this bolt in there. But I've got the nut out of the way. Let me move this out of the way and then check it out. We are now completely exposed to the engine mount bolts. Hopefully Daniel's gonna catch it. Engine mount number 1 is out. Now we're gonna take out the second engine mount bolt. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Might be able to make it work. Hang on. Oh yeah, that was a close one. Bolts are off, so we're gonna tap these mount bolts through, and we're gonna let this motor drop right on Daniel's. Yeah, never mind. We're just gonna let Daniel hold it up. You just stay right there, buddy. Okay, take 2. Let's go. Let's pull this thing out. Okay, 1 mount bolt out. Here's the last one. All right. Is it heavy?
Oh, there's still some hooked up.
Where?
Starter.
There.
Go. Oh, I got it.
Check that thing out.
All right, it's mine now.
Oh, it's yours. You claim it. No, quit scooting away with my little motor.
It weighs about 50 pounds.
Believe it or not, somehow we finally got the motor out, and this thing is hideous. Now we can go under here and continue taking off this wire harness because there's nothing else holding it in place. And just like that, I think that I just got the entire harness unplugged. Keep in mind, this Grom had 300 miles on it whenever we started. Okay, the motor, the entire harness, everything is out of the Grom. So this is, yeah, this is about as bare as a Grom can get. There is nothing else on here except for the forks, the wheels and tires, and the taillight. And that is it. This entire Grom is completely stripped down to basically nothing. That was relatively easy. And now this is where the fun part comes in, because it's cool that we're done with one, but you got to remember that we have to get started on stripping down yet another entire bike. Oh, I guess what would be the easiest way to do this, Daniel? Do you want to just move this out of the way? We're just gonna replace these mount bolts real quick just so you don't lose track of which goes where. And once we're done with that, then I'm gonna move it out of the way and we're gonna get started on stripping down the 300 next. So this is an entire Grom, but in a lot of pieces. All right, guys, well, to basically break it down for you, we have everything taken off of the Grom at this point. The motor is right here, there's the wire harness, there's every single component of this Grom is stripped off of this thing, and it is basically just the bare frame, and it has taken a video and a half to get it to this point, so I'm not going to waste you guys time and make you have to sit through that boring process once again. So I'm just going to talk to you guys once we get this bike down to the same stage that this one is. We're going to be removing all of the fairings off of this, the headlight, the handlebars, the exhaust, the chain, and then eventually the wiring harness and the motor. Same exact process, but we're going to go ahead and do that, and I will talk to you guys after.
What it feels like, everything that's wrong always ending up to feel right. I know I've been gone, but my dreams becoming real life. The closer that I get, I feel like it's not even in sight. Shows around the nation, but it started with the missed flight. Wonder if these sounds are saying I'm not made for this life. Everyone been putting on this image like they blessed.
Okay, guys, so a few hours later, and I've got this gigantic, just seaweed looking mess of wire harness, and we've got all the parts lined up over there on the wall that we've taken off the bike. The exhaust, the intake manifold, we took the throttle body off. I mean, this motor is basically bare now. The entire instrument cluster, headlight, seats, everything is coming off. The only thing that I have left to do is take out the wire harness from the rear back here for the license plate lights, the blinkers, the tail lights, and all of that stuff. But everything is, I mean, it's pretty much done. All that we have to do tomorrow is take the front sprocket cover off, take this chain off, and then drop the motor out of the bike, and then we're gonna get started on trying to figure out some way to fit all this mess into that little frame over there. So needless to say, this is gonna be pretty interesting. I really started this thinking that it was gonna be pretty simple, and then I see now that this is gonna be a pain to get back together. This is like wild. There is so many connectors on this harness that have to be plugged up to the certain things, and it's not even going to work out great because it's going to be on a different frame. Everything's not going to be where it should be. It's just going to be a mess. I've never actually motor swapped anything with a foreign engine that doesn't belong in it, so this is going to be completely crazy and a first for me, but oh well. That's probably going to be all for today's video, guys. Next video, we're going to be taking the motor out of this bike, completely dropping it, and then I guess getting started on bolting the motor up into that Grom, and it should be fairly simple being that I do have the motor mount adapter. Hopefully next video we'll get a lot more headway into getting this swap done. My main priority right now is to basically just get everything on that bike and running, and then once it's running, I'm going to be wrapping the fairings over there, and after I get it all wrapped up and stuff, then we'll actually assemble the entire bike. But my main priority as of now is to just get everything going, and that's what I'm trying hard to do. So that is going to do it for part 2 of Dom the 300 Grom, and I guess we'll continue this build next video. Hey guys, real quick before we end this video, I want to give you guys a little bit of insight on what is going on. So basically yesterday we went and bought a new vehicle, and it's really cool. It is seriously sweet. Watch this. Check that out. This is a bottle of nitrous out of the new vehicle. Yeah. Without ruining the surprise factor of the vehicle, I'll just say it's seriously sick. You're gonna like it a lot. We're gonna announce the vehicle later. A long story short,
we bought it and it blew up, okay? We bought it, it blew up, so we can't really announce it yet, but it's coming soon. Just